is Justin Harvey, and I am an advocate for the missing and abducted, working with the headmaster of the missing and abducted, David Levitt. On my radio show, I have had actors from Kickboxer and Bloodsport featured on my show. I am a prime example of someone with a disability like cerebral palsy that does things when people say no. I say yes, I can, and go out and do it. I have been a longtime supporter and head worker of Missing and Abducted, so without further ado, David Levitt, take it away.
Blog Talk Radio.
And welcome to another edition of the Missing and Abducted. I am your host, David Levitt, and we have some new updates in the search of Abigail Hernandez and Ashley Summer. Abigail Hernandez is a 15-year-old girl who has been missing since October 9th. And she wrote a letter to her mother weeks after she disappeared, and the letter was written October 22nd and postmarked October 23rd. But we're going to go ahead and go into a quick commercial break first, and then we'll go into these two new updates.
Hi, welcome. My name is Frank.
And my name is Lindsay.
And we're supervisors at the National Runaway Switchboard.
Actually, our new name is the National Runaway Safe Line. Our mission continues to help keep America's runaway, homeless, and at-risk youth safe and off the streets. But you may be asking, why are we changing our name?
Why are we changing our name, Lindsay?
Good question. Well, the word switchboard just doesn't really resonate with youth anymore. When we asked youth today what a switchboard was, they said things like a DJ board or a 1920s telephone. So it just wasn't really relevant anymore. And we also feel like SafeLine really encompasses the way that youth and families can reach out to us. It's not just through our 24-hour crisis hotline at 1-800-RUNAWAY.
We have our live chat service where from 4 to 11 Central Standard Time, you can just talk to someone one-on-one and talk about anything that might be going through your mind, anything that's happening. We'll also be there to help. We have our crisis email and our bulletin boards. You can log on online and send us your comments, your concerns, your questions about anything that you might be going through, and we'll be there to help. We also have our Home Free program in partnership with Greyhound Bus Lines. You can qualify for our program ages 12 to 20, and we might be able to help you out with a bus ticket to get back home.
We also have over 10,000 resources available through our database across the United States. We have ways to help advocate for youth through conference calling, through not only agencies, but also trying to help them reach out to their parent or guardian as well. Our message service does that as well, as the youth can leave a message for a parent, or a parent or guardian can leave a message for youth too. So we just really want everyone to know that you can reach us at any time. We're here 24 hours through our 1-800-RUNAWAY hotline, which is 786-2929. And we also have the email, the bulletin, and the live chat that's available through our website at 1-800-RUNAWAY.org, and all of those links are provided as well.
We're going to continue to grow in support of our youth and families. We are here to listen, here to help. We're the National Runaway Safe Line.
This webcaster uses Radio Amber, the Internet Radio Amber Alert System, helping to keep your children safe. A public service from the Internet broadcasting community and this station.
Elias Acevedo's indictment has one local family wondering if the murder suspect knows anything about their missing family member, Ashley Summers. Summers went missing 6 years ago and was last seen by family in Acevedo's neighborhood. Debbie Summers has spent many nights driving the streets of Cleveland in search for her niece Ashley. She says, "Every day I think about her. I wonder where she is. Is she okay?"
Every day I think about her. I wonder, where is she? Is she okay?
Debbie Summers has spent many nights driving the streets of Cleveland in search of her niece Ashley.
One night I just sat on one street for a long time because I heard that somebody saw her there. So I sat there till like 3 in the morning just waiting to see her.
But there's been no confirmed sighting and little trace of this girl with a vibrant smile since early July 2007. Summers was 14 when she vanished. Family says they last saw her at 14th and Holmden, at her uncle's house where she was living. That location is less than 2 miles from Elias Acevedo's last known registered address as well as his previous 2 addresses, according to public records. Acevedo is a registered sex offender and behind bars, indicted earlier this week for killing Christina Atkins and Pamela Pemberton. Both women's bodies dumped in the same area.
Yeah, what about Ashley? Where is she? Are they connected? I don't know. Let's hope not.
But Summers says she became more suspicious of Acevedo when News Channel 5 broke the news yesterday that a contractor found women's underwear in the ceiling of his former home on Vega. Summers' first thought?
More women. That's not the only 2. Can't be.
Whose underwear it is and why it was hidden there is still unclear. But what is clear is that Summers has hope. Hope that she'll see her beloved niece again.
I think she's alive. I have hope she's alive.
On your side, I'm Kristen Volk, News Channel 5.
And earlier this month, members of the FBI's Violent Crime Task Force hit Cleveland's West Side on November 6th. The task force is made up of FBI agents, Cleveland police officers, Cuyahoga County Sheriff's deputies, and Cuyahoga Metropolitan Housing Authority. The group knocked on doors, passed out flyers, and talked to residents. They are hoping that someone might have information that will lead them to Ashley Summers, the 14-year-old. 2 recent tips led task force members first to Colgate Avenue and then to Lorain Avenue. News Channel 5 was there exclusively as agents tracked down leads.
To Ashley. Tracy Carlos is live on 5. Tracy, you were with the FBI's Violent Crime Task Force.
Yeah, Lee, I was. You know, that task force is made up of FBI agents, Cleveland police officers, sheriff's deputies from Cuyahoga County and CMHA, and they work on the most violent cases, and they also work on some cold cases. Now, one of the cold cases that they're working on right now is the disappearance of Ashley Summers. She was last seen in July of 2007 at West 96th and Madison. Today, the task force fanned out across Cleveland's West Side. They went door to door, talking to people and handing out flyers with Ashley's picture on it. The FBI says 2 recent tips have led them to that area. You know, and the FBI is reminding people that if you know anything about any cold cases, especially Ashley Summers right now, to give them a call. Their number is 216-522-1400. Live on 5, Tracy Carlos.
Now that the family has a renewed reason to hope that she is alive, the Summers family handed out and hung up over 200 flyers anywhere they could up and down Lorain Avenue on Saturday, November 9th. And they came all the way from Columbus, Ohio, to hit the pavement as well.
A new push to find a missing Cleveland teen who disappeared 6 years ago. Ashley Summers would be 20 years old now. Her family is still holding on to hope after several cases of other missing Cleveland girls have recently been solved. Don Kendrick has the story.
Ashley Summers. Her family hasn't seen her since July 9, 2007. She was just 14 years old. But police, acting on new leads, recently went door to door on Cleveland's West Side.
We've had enough people say that I've seen her here, I've seen her there, and near this neighborhood that we know that she's out there somewhere.
So today, her grandparents came from Columbus to hit the pavement as well, hitting up businesses and hanging up 200 flyers anywhere they could up and down Lorain Avenue.
She's been missing 6 years. Oh my gosh.
We'll be happy to hang one of those up for you.
And I will say a prayer for this child.
I'll run copies.
Thank you, I appreciate it.
Hard to find a window up and down Lorain without Ashley Summers' face and her family's plea.
We love you, Ashley, so we want you to come home. We have every reason to believe she's alive, and when we hear of bodies being found, we sit with bated breath just waiting.
One family that knows that sinking feeling all too well is the family of Christy Atkins. Her body was found just recently. She disappeared pregnant 18 years ago, and today they're having a candlelight vigil, and wouldn't you know that the Summers family made this stop part of their day today. These are 2 families that are brought together by unthinkable angst.
If we can find those 3 girls who have been missing over 10 years right under our nose, she could be right under our nose and we're just missing her.
If you know where Ashley Summers is, we've posted contact information for police on 19actionnews.com. I'm Dawn Kendrick, 19 Action News.
And that is true. If they can find, if these 3 girls, Amanda Berry, Georgina DeJesus, and Michelle Knight can come up after being missing for 10 years, then definitely, now that there is possibly some leads in saying that she has been seen, Ashley Summers, then of course there has got to be hope that she is alive and that they will find her. And I do have that feeling in my gut, my heart, that they will find her alive. And my prayers will be with the family of Ashley Summers. Okay, we're going to go into our next story on Abigail Hernandez. Abigail Hernandez has been missing since Wednesday, October 9th, 2013, when she was last seen leaving Kennett High School here in North Conway, New Hampshire, at 2:30 p.m. Now, Abby is 5'4" and weighs 118 pounds. She has long brown hair and brown eyes, and she was wearing black leggings, a gray and black striped sweater, and black-blue boots when she was last seen. Now, on December 6th, there was a press conference that we're going to be bringing you into. There was a letter that was sent to Abigail Hernandez's mother, Xenia, and she. What had happened was her daughter had sent her a letter on. It was written October 22nd, and it was sent out on October 23rd. But she did not receive this letter until November 6th. Now, they could not explain why it took 13 days for her to get this letter. They did explain as to why they did not have this press conference till a month later, and they will explain that here in this press conference that we're going to hear right now.
Okay.
Down in front, please.
Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you for coming. We have asked you here today to provide you some information, some updates on the search that continues for Abigail Hernandez. I am again joined by her mother, Xenia, her sister, Sarah, the Carroll County Attorney, the Colonel of the State Police, the Chief of the Conway Police Department, and members of the FBI. The way that this is going to work this morning is that Chief Wagner is going to make a brief statement. I will then make a statement, and Kieran Ramsey from the FBI will make a statement. We will take a couple of questions afterwards, and that will conclude the press conference this morning. So, Chief.
Good morning. My name is Ed Wagner. I'm the Chief of Police in Conway, New Hampshire. Certainly like to thank everybody for coming this morning, certainly on the short notice that was given. I would like to once again thank the Conway community and the greater Mount Washington Valley community for the support that they have shown to the Conway Police Department and all other law enforcement agencies that have continued to search for Abigail. We continue to ask the public for information. It seems recently we have gotten some more information and tips that should have probably come in, days after the investigation started. So we continue to ask for people to call in with any information that they may have. Certainly it is our hope that Abby will be coming home soon. We're asking Abby to reach out to her mother, her sister, or any law enforcement agency in the manner that she reached out previously to them. As you see here, we are releasing some photos of a pocketbook and a necklace that we believe may be in Abby's possession. And we ask that anybody that may have somebody new in their community that moved into a home recently that has a young lady living in their house, to just please reach out to us and give us that information. Thank you.
Thank you, Chief. The information that we are going to release today is that a letter written on October 22nd and postmarked on October 23rd was received by Xenia on November 6th. The letter is purported to be written by Abby to her mother. We have had that letter in custody since the 6th of November. The reason that we are announcing today that we have it is because law enforcement had to take every possible step to verify its authenticity, and at this juncture, we believe that it was, in fact, written by Abby and was sent to her mother. The other reason that we did not disclose this earlier is that this was a critical lead for law enforcement. It was one of the most tangible leads we had in this investigation, and we wanted to take every step we could to follow through on that letter to try to find Abby. As we stand here today, we have not been successful in that task, but that does not mean that we are not giving up this search. There have been indications, there have been questions that, well, maybe this is a runaway. Why would you expend all these resources on a runaway? I ask you, if this is your child, as it is Xenia's, what would you want law enforcement to do? We are going to continue to follow up. I would stress that this is a child. She was 14 years old when she disappeared. She had her 15th birthday a few days later. We have been able to confirm that she has no source of income. Other than that letter, there has been no contact. We are concerned for her safety. She is not out there alone. She has somebody who is either helping her, whether that be a friend or what we fear is a foe. So we are going to continue this search for Abby, as Xenia has asked us to do, and as I think each and every citizen would ask us to do if it was their loved one. I am here on behalf of Xenia and Sarah to implore Abby that if she hears this, if she's able to see this, that she contact us. We will do everything we can to reunite her with her mother. If somebody has Abby, we implore you to make that contact. If it's a good citizen, a good Samaritan who has her and thinks that they are helping her, I can assure you that you are not. We need to reunite this child with her family. We will continue this investigation for as long as we can, and we are going to follow up on all leads. I'm sure that you will ask to see a copy of the letter, and at this juncture, we are not going to produce that letter. And the reasons that we are not going to produce it, and I can tell you we have thought long and hard, we are concerned that that letter may generate other letters from somebody other than Abby that will send us down trails that we don't want to go. We want to stay on one path, the path that finds Abby and the path that brings her back to her family. Kieran?
Good afternoon. Kieran Ramsey with the FBI again. First, let me point out that we are here at this point today because of the extraordinary amount of effort, care, and concern that continues to be leveraged by not only all the law enforcement officers you hear and see today, but also by the community of North Conway, the greater Mount Washington area, and really the entire viewing area for our region. Volunteers, law enforcement, the community has really done everything they possibly can to help us bring home this 15-year-old girl back to her family. Now, a lot of questions still remain, and obviously there will be many questions after this press conference as to where are we today. Is this a runaway? Is this a missing persons case as it has been termed up until this point? Let me explain that our initial indications when Abigail went missing were certainly consistent with a potential abduction. We're certainly consistent with the fact that she could have left either willingly or perhaps was coerced and manipulated into leaving. Nevertheless, you've already heard she's a 15-year-old girl with no independent financial means. Other cases that we've investigated across the country tell us that 1 in 8 of endangered runaways could be forced into some kind of sexual exploitation after a situation like this has occurred. So our care and concern for this girl's safety is not abated in any sense. We continue to do everything we can to locate her. As the investigation proceeded, though, our investigation showed us her public life, her private life, and enabled us to develop a better picture, a better victimology of who Abby was or is, who Abby's family is, to make sure we understand all the factors at play here. Again, still taking nothing off the table. When we received this letter, I will tell you it was unprecedented. We have not seen anything like that in recent time in other investigations, but most importantly, it gave us hope, and hence why we did not release it, because we wanted to expend every possible investigative resource to validate it, to verify that it could be from her, and to see if there was anything else that we could exploit from that letter that hopefully leads us to where Abby is now, and to answer the question, is Abby safe? Which continues to be our biggest concern. Our worst fear right now is that though she could have left willingly, someone may now be coercing her, someone may now be manipulating her, and her safety is still absolutely in question. We are mindful of incidents around the country at this point where we've had almost miraculous reunions of missing women with their family. We are mindful of other investigations where every avenue was pursued, as has been the case in this investigation. And we continue to hope that with all the effort, with the effort of law enforcement, with the effort of the community, with the effort of all of you, the media, that continue to put this story out there for us, that we can bring Abby home. Thank you. Questions?
Where was it postmarked from, the letter?
At this juncture, we are not going to disclose that. That is part of the investigative tactic that we are using, so we again think that it could jeopardize the investigation if we release that.
Can you describe the tone? Was she reaching out for help? Was she making demands? Anything, any sense you can give us of this letter?
I can describe the tone as a tone that, once reviewed, is a tone that Abby would have used. The specifics of that, again, I am not going to give you that.
How long was the letter? Was it several pages? And was she pleading for help, or was she saying that she's okay and don't worry about me?
Again, I would note that she's 15. We worry about somebody who's 15. We're law enforcement. That's our job to do, to worry. Her mother's worried. She's not home. Again, we are not going to give you the specific content of the letter because that is a critical piece of evidence that we have. Our hope is that we see another letter and we'll be able to tell if it's written by her or, unfortunately, if it's written by somebody who's just trying to throw the police off the investigation. So that's the reason we don't want to give you the content of the letter and the exact phraseology of the letter. You know, you're all very skilled at the job you do. Xenia is here today. I ask that you not contact her and ask her those questions. She's in a pretty delicate state, as you can imagine. This has been almost 2 months since her child has been missing, so we ask that, you know, those questions be directed to us. Xenia has indicated to us that, you know, she receives a lot of calls, and although we need you and we appreciate you, sort of the calls to ferret out the letter could be an impediment in this investigation, and I know that you're all here for one reason, because you want to find this child as much as we do.
Has the letter changed the direction of the investigation? Have you added more people because of it? Have you focused in other areas because of it?
Certainly, the letter was a piece of evidence that we, you know, there was sufficient manpower there. We did everything we could with the letter. As we indicated, that we sent it out for expert analysis. We looked at that. So it gave us sort of the focus that we were looking for, that we have been asking for. And as the chief indicated, you know, we have received some information in the recent past that we ask ourselves, why didn't we hear that 2 or 3 days after? So as much as you can keep this story out there, we will take the information when we get it, and we will follow through as we have continued to follow through.
Jane, part of your investigation in trying to find Abby is dedicating resources to the geographic areas where they may be most needed. By not releasing where the letter was sent, doesn't that hinder your investigation? If it was sent from a certain area, wouldn't you want people in that area to be more aware of possibly that she could have been there or maybe there?
And that's why today we're releasing the fact that there was a letter. We have the New Hampshire media here. We have the Boston media here. We hope that this will pick up national attention. And as the chief said, you know, we're asking you, look at your neighbor. Look at the grocery store. Look at your church. Is there somebody that you haven't seen here before? I mean, as Agent Ramsey indicated, you know, we have seen a number of these cases across the country. I think that, you know, Elizabeth Smart indicated that she was seen in a library and police came up to her. We need your help and we need the public's help to be vigilant to look. So giving the postmark, we have thought long and hard about what we have released, and at this point we think it's more of a compromise than a benefit to the investigation. We will certainly continue to assess that. But you're all here. You're going to get that message out, and that's a message that we need to get out. And I think at this point that the public is heightened to the understanding of, my God, there could be somebody in a house that's there against their will. And that's why when we get those calls, these gentlemen follow up on it, whether it's nights, weekends, or holidays.
Mr. Ramsey, you mentioned that 1 in 8 young women may be the victims of sexual exploitation if they're abducted. Is that a problem you see in New England? Does this case make you have any indications of that? What made you bring that up?
I wouldn't say that it's a particular problem for New England, except to say that statistic is troubling in and of itself. No matter where in the country we see that. One child is too many. So 1 in 8 is a disturbing statistic, and the fact remains this is a girl that fits that profile, a 15-year-old endangered juvenile female that has no independent financial means. So she's certainly at risk. And we note that statistic for the fact that this is a very real possibility. It's not problematic or it doesn't plague us necessarily, but it's a problem across the country, and we have to be ever concerned about that.
Has Abigail run away before?
This is not a characteristic that we have seen before with this child.
The fact that she had the ability to write and send a letter, does that indicate to you that she's maybe all right, that whoever company she's in is taking care of her?
That doesn't give us a lot of great comfort based on what we have seen, and that's why we continue to search for this child. And again, I would note that the letter was dated. It didn't come into law enforcement hands for a number of days, so I would like to say that it does, but I can't. And that's why we are here again imploring Abby, or imploring anybody who knows where Abby is, to please come forward.
The letter was dated the 23rd of November, but not... October, I'm sorry. But not received by law enforcement until November 6th. That's a very long period of mailing time. When was it received by Mrs. Hernandez?
It came into custody on the 6th.
Into her custody or your custody?
Into her custody on the 6th.
Any idea why it would take 13 days for a letter to be mailed? It seems awfully unusual.
I'm not going to answer that question specifically.
Did you have a different date for the date it was written, the date it was postmarked, and then the date November 6th?
Correct. So the date is the 22nd.
That it was written.
Postmark is the 23rd.
23rd?
October.
And then received the 6th.
Correct.
Do you believe she's still in New Hampshire?
You know, this investigation is wide open.
Are these items that she definitely had on her when she was missing, or those items that she may have had?
We believe that the necklace, we've confirmed that that was a piece of jewelry that she wore regularly, and we do believe that she carried that purse on a frequent basis. While we don't have a picture of her carrying it the day she went missing, we do have information to indicate that it was possibly in the other bag that she had with her on the day that she went missing.
Does the necklace have any sentimental value, and is that her birthstone or anything?
It certainly does have sentimental value. I don't know if it's her birthstone or not, but we have verified and corroborated through interviews of others, to include Abby's mom and sister, as to verifying that she had that type of necklace.
Okay. And one last question.
So is this a runaway case, an abduction, a child abduction, or what are we looking at here at this point?
We are still classifying this as a missing person case. We have grave concerns for Abby's safety based on everything that you heard here today. Given her age, the fact that she has no financial means of support, the last thing that she was seen in not winter clothes, you know, think about what you need. You need shelter, you need food, you need clothing, and there was that one contact, and there hasn't been contact again with this child. Thank you. Again, we implore you to keep Abby's face out there, to keep this story alive. That's what her mother and her sister need, and that's what law enforcement needs to bring this girl home safely. Thank you.
And you want to say something? I actually talked before.
As I indicated, she, at this point, she has asked that communications come through us. So thank you again. Thank you for coming. Sorry that the room was a little warm.
Thank you.
We have 3 minutes left of the show, so I'm going to, before we close out, I'm going to want to say this prayer. And this goes for all the missing children out there. And I ask that you say this along also. Think about this at this Christmas time. The families that are missing their loved ones and they're not there with them. There's going to be an empty spot at the table, and there's going to be a present left underneath the tree. Heavenly Father, we pray that you keep all the children safe and sound, including the adults. Let no harm come before they are found. They are lost from their family, from the ones they love. We ask, Lord, that you return them home and protect them from above. Place your loving arms around them today and every day. Guide them safely back home. And God, I ask that you grant your peace to the families, parents, and friends of the missing, especially Phoenix Colden's parents, Tabitha Franklin's children, Dawson, Gavin, and Hannah, that you surround them with your love. Let them feel your spirit this Christmas, the spirit of goodness. Grant them wisdom to make the right decisions. Bind their hearts together with understanding and compassion in this difficult time. And please, Lord, bring them all home safely. Amen. Thank you. Check out my Facebook page at Missing and Abducted on Facebook. Also my website where you can hear a full archive of the shows at symradio.com. So, till next year, Merry Christmas, Happy New Year, and see you next year. Good night.
And in their beautiful voices, I could hear the sound of hope as it reached out across the midnight stars.
And I just wanted to add one more thing. You can get all the timeline, and her website is at bringabbyhome.com. And the truckers can help by finding Abby. That's one of the most effective ways that we can spread the message about Abby and get her name and face out there. We have already signed up multiple trucking firms and independent owner-operators to display Abby missing magnets on their trucks. And they'll supply truck drivers with a magnet for their trucks, as well as some missing posters or bookmarks for them to share with other drivers they meet in their travels or truck stops. If you would like to join the growing list of truckers who are helping to find Abby, you can purchase a magnet for $10. We also realize that not everyone can afford to purchase one. And, of course, we still want to get as many magnets we can to truckers everywhere. So if you can't afford it, contact them on their website if they're interested, and they'll make sure to get you a magnet out and some posters. So, again, good night. God bless. And hope you all have a Merry Christmas and a Happy New Year. See you next year.